Now, this model should have been an easy home run for Herpa Wings. Why Herpa got stuck on first base, we'll find out now. And with that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at a Boeing 777-300ER of United Airlines. At the front of the box we have the cutout so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and on top of the box we have the United Airlines branding. And then on the back side of the box we see that Herpa continued with their god-awful box design. This is absolute trash. I'm sorry to be this blunt about it, but I mean, sorry Herpa, who are you trying to convince with this box design? Certainly not your customers. And here she is, the Boeing 777-300ER in the new livery of United Airlines. Now, unfortunately, this aircraft model, and I have to say so from the get-go, suffers from the usual Herpa nonsense, but it also has some additional issues. But we will go through them one by one, so you also have a chance to take a look at the model yourself to make up your own mind. So let's get started with the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer have the United Airlines branding. Now I will get back to the stabilizer because this is actually one of my main critique points of this aircraft model, but we will get back to that just a little bit later, because first we will take a look at some of the other details this aircraft model has to offer. Like for example here on the fuselage, where we can see we have the full registration code of the aircraft, we have the flag of the United States of America, and we have an internal registration code. At the very tail we then also find a little bit of detailing around the APU exhaust printed on, and on top of the fuselage we then also have the addition of this lovely little set dome, which I think Herpa has done a decent job with. And with that we are pretty much already at the front of the aircraft, so let's take a quick look here, where we can see across the fuselage the writing of United. Then we also find a Star Alliance logo, of which United Airlines is a founding member. Underneath that we have a little bit of writing, and I've been trying to figure out what that could be. Now first I thought it would be the aircraft type specification, but I don't believe that it is that. It could also be the company slogan, however the writing is actually too long for that, so I'm not entirely sure what it is. If you know, let me know in the comment section below. The cockpit section itself is unfortunately very bare-boned. The only thing we have here of interest are the cockpit windows and the window wipers. However, underneath the nose we then have the aircraft type specification. The engine nacelles have been kept in this dark blue color of the United branding, and we have the silver leading edge. That, however, is all the printed detailing we get on the engine nacelles. I would say they look nice, however we of course know that the engine nacelles are simply shaped incorrectly from Herpa Wings. This is an issue with all 777s from Herpa Wings in scale 500, unfortunately, because the physical detailing of the engines is actually very nice. For example, here when we look into the engines from the front, we can very nicely see the engine fan blades. So the engine's a little bit disappointing, so let's move on to something that is a little bit more convincing, and that's the wings. If we start off here with the top side, we can see the different flaps, slats and spoilers carved out very nicely. We also have the markings for the emergency exit printed on, and this thick black line, which is a visual indication for pilots as to where the outer edges of the landing gear is. Pilots can see this line through a camera, which in the real aircraft is mounted on top of the vertical stabilizer. And then a quick look at the underside of the wings also reveals that they are actually also pretty decently detailed. From there we can then move on to the landing gear, or more specifically here the main landing gear, which I think Herpa has done a very decent job in replicating. Also the front landing gear I think actually looks pretty decent. The only critique I really have here is that I would like to have just any printed details on that. That would really help out the model. And then last but not least, we also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here in the back side of the aircraft, and here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Boeing 777-300ER in the new livery of United Airlines of Herpa Wings in scale 1 to 500. Now, what can we say about this aircraft model? Because I was a little bit harsh about it in the beginning of the episode, but there is a reason for that. Or multiple, actually. But let me start with the physical detailing. Now, overall, actually, the physical detailing of the model is good. Herpa Wings is pretty good at making 777s. But then it becomes even more annoying that we in the year 2020 still are getting engines from Herpa Wings which are clearly just wrong. And I don't understand how Herpa can change other details that no one has asked them to change and continue to ignore obvious mistakes like the engines of their 777s. That's just not good enough. But unfortunately, that's not the main bone I have to pick with this model, because the real problem this aircraft model has is on the vertical stabilizer, where we look at the branding of United Airlines. More specifically, you have to look at the transition from the very dark blue towards this lighter blue on top of the stabilizer. Now, we could excuse Herpa and say that in their printing technique they just can't make this transition smoother, but that's just not true, because they have released a 737-800, which, if you don't know aircraft, is a much smaller aircraft, and there they have the transition perfect. So there is really no excuse from Herpa Wings to release a model like this. This is a clear mistake, and they should never ever have put this model on the market, and it just proves that Herpa doesn't care. Not about their product, and certainly not about their customers. So at the end of the video, I'm unfortunately again here with a brand new Herpa release, which I just cannot recommend for one's collection. So despite this disappointment, I hope you still could enjoy the video, and if you did, then do feel free to leave a like. That would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.